Okay, so with the reproductive system, we're going to split it up into three main sections. We'll start with male reproductive, then go on to female reproductive system, and then we'll finish off with pregnancy and fetal development. So overall, looking at the reproductive system in male and females, we use the term gonads to describe the primary sex organs. Everyone always giggles when they hear the word gonads and they think of guys, but females have gonads too. It's going to be the ovaries, since that is where the eggs or the ova are going to be produced. And then the gonads in males are going to be the testes, since that is where sperm are produced. And remember, sperm and ova are called gametes, if you remember that from freshman biology. And those are going to be the sex cells. And then they're also going to secrete hormones. So looking at the male reproductive system, of course, the gonads are going to be the testes, where the actual sperm are produced within the testes. Then the duct system is going to be basically the tube system that the sperm will travel through to exit the body. So we've got the epididymis, the ductus or vas deferens, and the urethra. And then we have some accessory organs that are going to contribute to the production of semen. That is going to be the seminal vesicles, the prostate, and the bulbourethral glands. And remember, the bulbourethral glands are going to be the Cowper's glands. And then the external genitalia will consist of the penis and the scrotum. So here's all of them on the diagram. The testes are going to be down here, so that's where the actual sperm will be produced. This is the start of the duct system, so the epididymis looks kind of like a comma. Then the vas deferens, which actually travels up and over the bladder, so this is the bladder, to the posterior side of the bladder before it will turn into the ejaculatory duct, which will feed into the urethra and travel through the penis. And this is just another viewpoint. So we have the bladder right here. So these both right here are going to be the ureters traveling up to the kidneys. So the vas deferens will travel up and over and around to the posterior side of the bladder before it will join in with the ejaculatory duct and into the urethra. So the covering of the testes surrounding the actual seminiferous tubules where the sperm is actually made, we have the tunica albuginea, and that is a capsule. It basically makes the testes into kind of like a hard-boiled egg. And in between where the seminiferous tubules are, you have the septa. So think septum is going to be a division, and that's going to be extensions of the actual capsule that divide the testes into different lobes, which you'll see on this next picture. So this right here is going to be the actual testes. So the white part's going to be the tunica albuginea, and the septa are going to divide the testes into different lobules. And within those lobules, you'll see the seminiferous tubules. So each lobule contains 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules, and those tubules are going to be tightly coiled structures. They are the sperm-forming factories, and once the sperm are formed, they will actually enter into the rete testes, and that's going to be the beginning of the duct system, because they'll go from the rete testes and then into the epididymis. And also within the testes, we have specialized cells that are going to produce testosterone, and those are called the interstitial cells. So here we have the seminiferous tubules inside each lobule, and we'll empty the sperm into the rete testes before it will travel into the epididymis. And then the epididymis is going to be where the sperm are actually going to complete their maturation. So our duct system is the epididymis, the vas deferens, and the urethra. The epididymis is comma-shaped, also tightly coiled tube, kind of like the seminiferous tubules. It's found on the superior part of the testis along the posterior lateral side. And like I said, this is where the sperm are going to mature. So they'll be stored here for at least 20 days before they will be released, because they don't want to be released until they are mature and can actually function as mature sperm. So it will actually expel sperm with a contraction of muscles in the epididymis walls into the vas deferens. So they will hang out in this area until they're completely mature, and then they'll be forced into the vas deferens. So the vas deferens are going to carry the sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct. The ejaculatory duct is a very small little area that's going to connect the vas deferens to the urethra. The vas deferens pass through the inguinal canal, so in the pelvic region, and like I said before, over the bladder. Sperm will move by peristalsis. We've seen that word before. We talked about peristalsis like in your esophagus and in your intestines. Peristalsis is a wave-like motion of smooth muscles that are going to help push things through. So it travels the exact same way within the vas deferens. So the spermatic cord is going to be surrounding. It's going to include the vas deferens or the ductus deferens. It will also include blood vessels and nerves, and they'll be surrounded by a connective tissue sheath. So right here, this is the spermatic cord. So it'll include the vas deferens and then blood vessels and nerves. Like I said, the vas deferens will end in the ejaculatory duct, which is where it will unite with the urethra. The expanded end of the vas deferens is called the ampulla. And basically, ejaculation is when you have smooth muscle in the walls of the vas deferens, create those peristaltic waves to squeeze sperm forward and move them all the way through the vas deferens. At this point in the vas deferens, it is not made up of semen yet. You're basically just going to have sperm at this point. A vasectomy is whenever they actually will cut or they will kind of clip off the vas deferens down in the area of the testes. And so a male will still actually produce sperm. It's just instead of them actually traveling through the vas deferens during ejaculation, they'll never be able to exit the body. So still produce sperm, still produce testosterone, all of that stays the same. Ejaculation will still occur, except it'll be semen minus the actual sperm. The urethra is going to extend from the base of the urinary bladder to the tip of the penis. Now this is different in males and females because in males it will function in both urinary system and in reproductive system. So the urethra does carry both urine and sperm, but it does have, there are mechanisms that keep urine and sperm from traveling through the urethra at the same time. The sperm, like I said before, will enter from the ejaculatory duct. There are 3 different regions of the urethra. You have the prostatic urethra, which is going to be the area surrounded by the prostate, immediately inferior to the bladder. You have the membranous urethra, which is going to be the distance between where the prostate ends until the urethra enters into the spongy tissue of the penis. And then the spongy urethra, or the penile urethra, will run the length of the penis. So here we have the 3 different regions. Right here, the prostatic urethra, the membranous urethra, and then the spongy urethra will run the entire length of the penis. So the accessory organs are going to be the seminal vesicles, the prostate, and the bulbourethral glands. Remember, the bulbourethral glands are also called the Cowper's glands. So here we have the seminal vesicle. You'll see it's hiding back there behind the urinary bladder. Then we have the prostate, which does completely surround the urethra, which is why men who have enlarged prostates have issues going to the restroom. And then the bulbourethral glands are going to be right here. So the seminal vesicle, all 3 of them are going to help contribute to semen. but they produce different fluids that contribute to semen. So seminal vesicles, like I said, is located at the base of the bladder. It produces a thick yellowish secretion. This makes up about 60% of semen. This is going to be composed of fructose, which is sugar, vitamin C, prostaglandins, and other substances that basically their job is to help nourish and activate sperm. So the prostaglandins are going to help to activate the sperm, and vitamin C and the fructose are going to be helping to actually nourish the sperm. And the prostaglandins are also what, if you've ever heard people say when they're trying to trigger going into labor, people will recommend that they actually have sexual intercourse, because the prostaglandins can actually also help to trigger the uterus into contracting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. A lot of people say that the amount of prostaglandins in semen actually isn't enough for it to actually trigger the woman to go into labor. The prostate gland does encircle the upper part of the urethra at the base of the penis. Not the base of the penis, the base of the bladder. It secretes a milky fluid, and it helps to activate sperm, and it enters the urethra through several small ducts. So here we had the seminal vesicle, and then here we have the prostate gland. And you'll notice the position of the prostate gland in comparison to the rectum. So guys, whenever you're getting your prostate gland checked, you will notice why they will actually check through the anus and in the rectum, because they can very easily tell, because that's not very much area right there in between there, where they can detect the size of the prostate to see if you have a problem or not. The bulbourethral gland, or your Cowper's glands, they are a pea-sized gland located just inferior to the prostate, and it produces a thick, clear mucus. This is the one we talked about before. This is what's actually coming out during pre-ejaculate. It's a thick, clear mucus. It helps to cleanse the urethra of acidic urine, so that way the acidity of the urine does not kill the sperm. It also serves as a lubricant during sexual intercourse, and it is secreted directly into the penile urethra. And there you'll see the bulbourethral gland right there will be releasing its fluids directly into the penile urethra. All of the blue tissue is going to be erectile tissue in the penis. So you'll notice that the erectile tissue is not just in the external penis that you can see, but it does continue inside the body. So semen is going to be a mixture of sperm plus all of those accessory gland secretions. Advantages of accessory gland secretions: fructose provides energy for sperm cells. The alkalinity, which is the basic, the semen helps to neutralize the acidic environment, not only within the urethra itself, but within the vagina, because the vagina is very acidic. Semen helps to inhibit bacterial multiplication, and there are elements of semen that enhance sperm motility and allow them to be able to travel better. And the external genitalia of the male is going to be the scrotum and the penis. Of course, the scrotum is going to be the skin that surrounds the testes outside the abdomen. It's very important that the male testes are located outside of the body, because they have to be maintained at a lower temperature than normal body temperature, or else the sperm would not be viable. So it has to be about 3 degrees Celsius lower, which is why when males get really hot, then you have a homeostatic balance system that will allow them to expand, so the temperature does not get too hot. And if they get too cold, then they will actually contract, so that way they do not get too cold. Both ways, keeping the sperm viable. The penis is going to be what actually delivers the sperm into the female reproductive tract. You do have different regions of the penis. You have the shaft, the glans penis, which is the enlarged tip, the prepuce, which is the foreskin.